Now we're inside the shop. I've got some bows that are in process that I can show you. Here's a riser. It's another XLT. This one's just about to the finished stages. It's got the final stages of the sanding on it. This is a Safari Elite. It's got the gray action wood, brown action wood accents with maple. This particular bow's limbs is going to have the clear glass over the brown action wood with gray action wood wedges, and then it'll have the gray action wood string groove overlays. Here's a Tornado XLT, pretty much just roughed out, doesn't have the dimples in it as the finished model would. Still pretty bulky in size, hasn't been sized down, but just another XLT Tornado that I'm working on. Here's a new leaf. This one's got the gray action wood with Paduke and yellow heart accents. When I take a phone call, somebody calls me and wants to order a bow, I try to get to know that person a little bit before I ask them questions about the bow that they want to order. Reason why is that, several things go into play. Number one, they're somewhere in the country and I'm here, and so I'm trying to get a feel for them and what kind of hunting that they do. Kind of helps me in the design and the features that are going to go in that particular bow for them. Some of the questions that we might ask once I've got you on the phone, or even if we're emailing over the internet, is the type of hunting you do, of course your draw length, the grip of the bow, and all those are kind of a given. But some of the outside questions that I'm going to have are, what type of hunting do you do? Do you hunt out of a boat? Do you hunt out of a tree stand? Do you hunt from the ground? I want to know some of your hunting experiences, which are one of the things that all of us are more than willing to get an opportunity to talk about. But what this does is it kind of gives me the opportunity to build a picture of the person that I'm going to build this particular bow for. And from that, those are going to put that artistic feature into that particular bow, maybe. Especially if somebody's asking me, they say, hey, I want this bow out of action wood, I want this bow out of exotic, and I either want it to be light, dark, brown, gray, whatever. If they're not really specific, then it helps me to design that particular bow for that individual. Also, the other side, are you hunting? Are you going to use hunting conditioned arrow weight? Are you going to use target arrow into this bow? Is this bow going to be primarily a target bow, or is it going to be a dual bow? Is it going to be a bow that you're going to go out and hunt with, and you're also going to shoot 3Ds, or target? Weight. Weight's a big subject when you come to building traditional archery for somebody. I find that more often than not, a person will call up, and if they don't have any prior experience with a traditional bow, they tend to want to go a little bit on the heavy side. As mentioned earlier, the bows that I've built are very efficient. Therefore, you don't have to shoot a really high poundage bow to get the efficiency out of that particular bow. Therefore, I always tell people, hey, go light as going to be comfortable, that you can go out and shoot with your buddies, stump shooting or 3Ds all day long, and you're not going to fatigue, you're not going to tire, and what that's going to do is it's going to make you shoot better, and it's going to make your experience of shooting that much more enjoyable. There is that medium when it comes to requirements for weight for hunting certain animals. If you're hunting elk, most states have a 50-pound minimum. Then, of course, you're going to have to meet that minimum. That doesn't mean you have to order a 65-pound bow. Um, it, and I find this more often than not with the person that is going to be coming from a compound and they're getting into traditional archery and they're used to, you know, shooting a 65, 70, 80 pound compound. They really don't know in their mind what that 60-pound bow is that they want to order. Typically, the guys that initially want to shoot 60 pounds, I always tell them, hey, if you have an opportunity to pull a 60-pound bow, go shoot it. There are a lot of guys out there that 60 is fine, but there's a lot of guys out there that 60 is going to be too much. So if they have an opportunity to try that 60-pound bow, then they're going to know whether or not it's going to be suited for them. And again, maybe sitting down, shooting that bow from a sitting position. Any position that you're going to get into that hunting environment or that 3D environment, that's going to help you make the decision on your bow weight. Another good feature in my bows, because of the fact that they do produce a real efficient deliverance to the arrow, is with women and children. Now you're on the lower end of the weight spectrum. So the most performance that you can get out of that bow is going to greatly enhance their ability to harvest something, especially when you're talking about hunting. Or also, even if they're in the target field and they're out doing 3Ds, trajectory is going to enhance their ability to hit that target. So that's just another. Weight is probably the one thing that we're going to talk about the most when you order a bow, and I just want to make sure that you're ordering the bow that's going to fit you properly.